If I fall in, don't laugh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, that was just where they had barred it off because there were some divers that had cave dived in here and never came out. And so they eventually wound up, they used to have big bars up at the, like out further towards us, more toward the front from what I can remember. But yeah, they had to bar it off because that's evidently it goes way back up in there.
They went way back in there.
And yeah, that's
Not a good place.
not a good place to go.
This is where people normally come. You come normally to the edge right here, and it's about 10 feet deep in here.
I need the flashlight.
Yeah, there it goes. See right here? How you can jump right off, and it's just so crystal clear blue water. And this is that flashlight that was given to me. Hopefully I'll keep my arm and nothing eats me. But as you can see the bottom down here, it's really, really neat looking. These are Florida Springs. And you know, people, oh, look at this fish right here. Look at that. There's two fish right here. Look at
big
this.
fish in there.
See the fish in here?
Yes.
Big fish.
Yeah, they're big.
I don't know if you can see them on the camera, but this water is you know, I'm just saying this water is probably so clear and so clean you could probably drink it. It's coming straight.
Okay.
There's another one right there, another fish. It's coming straight out of the earth. Talk and update folks on the channel. But we're out in the woods right now. We're just doing some camping in here in Florida, and we are in a place called Rock Springs. And what's the nearest town like?
Oh, Apopka,
Yeah.
Wakaiva, Altamont Springs.
And we're going to show you around a little bit around the area. It's already sunset already, and looks kind of spooky, creepy out here at night.
Oh, yeah, it is.
But one of the things I wanted to, you know, it might sound trivial, or it might sound kind of silly, but we realize that we have odd connections between the two of us. And I know we've mentioned this before, and we have a weird connection going on. I don't know. The last couple weeks ago, when Max Powers came down, and I took Max out to the fridge area, and it was the very last video that got posted, and you can see the spider crawling up my neck, the whole 9 yards. And the funny thing was, I'm going to get to the point here shortly, but the funny thing was is that shortly, within a few days of coming back from that area, and that's the area with the fridge, I started coming down with a big earache. And it was in my left ear, and it was like really, really bad and throbbing to the point that I couldn't sleep at night, and I decided to go see a doctor. Okay. This was the Saturday, and for sure it came down Sunday. I saw the doctor on a Tuesday, and they put me on. They said, yeah, it's red in there. So they put me on antibiotics. I was on antibiotics for a whole week, and so that week passes, and we're on the following week right now. Okay, so it's been a week since I came off antibiotics. And I didn't know about this until I spoke with Betty.
He had mentioned that he had an earache, and I looked at him. I said, "Uh-oh, when did you have an earache?" And he just the other day, and I said, "When did you have an earache?"
Yeah.
He said, "Well, the other day. It started on a Sunday." And I looked at him, and I started smiling. I said, "I developed a bad earache on Monday morning, you know, like from midnight to when I woke up. And I had it for about 3 days. It finally went away, but I did tell my husband that if it doesn't go away, I'm going to the doctor, obviously, and get antibiotics. But it's just kind of too coincidental that we both wound up. I don't never get earaches. I have never had an earache. I can't ever remember in my entire childhood
And this might
having an earache.
Yeah, and what I mean by it, I can't stress enough that it does sound trivial, but hang in there, okay? Hang in there. It does get better. Now, I don't remember what you told me. whether your ear was in your right ear.
It was in my right
I had
ear.
it in the left ear.
Yes.
And was it around simultaneously at the same time, or was it for you the week after, or did you kind of know?
Today is Sunday. Mine happened this past Monday. This past Monday.
Yeah, so that makes me think it's in line with mine.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like we both had earaches at the same time. And I went back out to that area. She did not. I did. And
He
she
did.
comes down with an earache.
I mean, throbbing. It was just like
Yeah.
somebody taking a knife in my ear and just stabbing. And I kept telling my husband, I have never had I said,
No.
I've never had anything like this
I've
before.
Not
The whole
for
top
me
of my
too.
head was just hurting and throbbing, like I had an earache, headache thing.
Yeah.
It's just kind of weird. We just thought we'd,
Well, you know, everybody's probably had at least a good solid earache in their life at some point in time, but I just thought it was kind of really weird.
not at the same time as a brother and a sister.
Yeah.
That was just kind of odd. We're not twins either.
But there's something else that's been happening between us also. This goes back a little bit more. I took a long time even pondering coming out with the video that was recently done, but this is about the area where the big asterisk structure was found. All right. Some interesting things and what you guys don't know that happened between us is there was a dream, and Betty, I tell you about this dream, and then go right
Yeah.
ahead, tell.
And I didn't know he had been going out to the swamp. I was nursing a bad injury to my foot, so
Yeah, and you start off you asked me, you said, have you been kind of, yeah, that's
yeah.
how you started it.
yeah, I texted him the next day at work, and I said, have you been having any visions in your house on those stupid black things again?
Yeah.
And the shadow people? And he said, why?
Yeah, I think I did say a why,
yeah.
but I hesitated.
Yes, and I said, because I had a dream last night. I said, I dreamed they had came to me. There was like 3 or 4 of them came to me while I was asleep. And they were screaming at me. And I kept screaming back saying, stop, stop, stop. They started to spin me. And in my dream, I was just spinning around and around and around and around trying to get them to stop. When I finally woke up, I literally was sideways in my bed.
Yeah.
Not you know, like you
Right.
normally lay, but I was sideways
Yeah.
in my bed.
Yeah, and that was, I remember when you told me that this was just this was like 2 or 3 days before we went out to the structure. This
Yes.
was 2 or 3 days. I want to say, I think she told me it happened on like a Wednesday night. We went out there Saturday.
Yes, I took the chance, went out there with my bad foot, wore my snake boot, I did okay, but that's when we started,
Right.
weird things were happening out there again.
Right. And so we saw that big looking asterisk structure, and she had told me about that. I'm trying to remember if you told me before we went out there, but it doesn't.
Yes.
It doesn't. I think you did. I don't
'cause
think it really
had,
matters.
Yeah, I had
but-
texted him, and
Yeah, you texted me. Yeah.
first thing he said was, don't put too much into it, don't say nothing, you know, don't give it any attention.
Because I hesitated because the
Yes.
truth of the matter was I had been getting glimpses.
Yes, he had already been,
I had been getting glimpses,
and he didn't want to let me know.
and I didn't want to tell her and didn't want to let her know anything. And it was nothing solid. I had just been getting like, wait a minute, you know, it's these. Wait a minute, you know, you look at it and you're like,
You try to talk yourself out of it.
yeah, and you instantly talk yourself out of it, and you're like, you know, you think there was something there, there's nothing there, and you go about your business. I had been getting them on a few occasions, and then she tells me about getting spun around the bed. Okay, we go out there. John takes us out there and shows us the area where something runs up to them at night. He said it was big. Whatever it was big and heavy. And if you saw the video, you saw me coming up there. That was the area, and his phone goes crazy. It starts doing like a disco, man. It it starts going off and on.
Like,
We all were
we've
there.
all, yeah, we all have experienced the craziness
Yeah,
with the phones.
and his phone was like blinking off and on, doing crazy stuff, and he held it up and looked. He held it up and said, "Look at this, man." And he goes, "You believe this?" You know, and I'm like, "Yeah, I do believe that." And so I pulled out my phone, and that's when I saw my phone. My phone had an application up and running that connects me to work, and that's normally what we use when we are on call. And nurses and nurses and doctors or anyone else in the anyone there can get a hold of us if they need to. That application was up and running, and that application is a pin. You have to turn it on by pin, and I didn't turn it on by pin or anything. So that was what was weird about that. Even my phone was acting up at the same time. Our main camera acted up, it froze, it seized, it didn't want to behave or anything like that. Okay, as you know, you saw this last video. The last video that came out, Max and I are into a discussion. I know people were beating me down by the black screen, but sometimes that's just the way it goes, people. I need both my hands when we're on the trail, especially when it's getting like this, especially when it's starting to get like this, and I know I have another person's safety that's in my hands. So a lot of times I stop filming, but the recorder is running. But I thought it was pertinent for everybody to understand our conversation. So pardon me for the black screen, the camera just wasn't rolling. I consider it a safety thing. I need to, because I'm moving. And everybody here can tell you, when I get moving, I move fast.
Yes.
I move fast.
His feet is on fire.
So I will take off and I will be stepping it out. And so I needed both my hands, so I apologize if you had a black screen. But you heard me explain what happened. I saw the shadow thing in our house. And the dog comes running out. So we just wanted to share that with you.
And it was all kind of within the same window in like a week.
Yeah, it all happened within a couple of weeks, and just wanted to say, man, that's kind of weird stuff how your earache was in tune with my earache. And Chris Reinhardt was just telling me, hey, do you think something bit you? I said, dude, I didn't feel anything bite me. But when I look at the video footage, you see a spider crawling up my neck.
Well, there wasn't no spider crawling.
Yeah, I swear to you, I wasn't bit. I did not feel anything bite me. I don't feel any bites, nothing. My ear is still not completely out of the woods yet. And
Mine's a little weird.
And I did not go swimming with my head under the water because I don't want to take a chance on that.
Break Omaha, pick me kid, Rafael Peralta, passability to launch Hilo ASAP.
Splashing your bearing ring. Took off, booking it.
Break Omaha, pick me kid, Rafael Peralta, passability to launch Hilo ASAP.
Splashing your bearing ring.
Sure. You got 2 wins, 3 knots.
Keep going, bro.
We're making 10, so we could probably bring that 35 relative. Sir.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir. We got a lot of white water out there, some 6-foot swells.
Whoa, it's getting close.
Yeah, we have 31 knots sustained wind, topside, gust of 40.
What was splashed? Mark bearing and range.
All right, well, this one's called, the pilot, they called it Tic Tac, all right? So what they also don't disclose a lot of times is what was going on before they caught it and zoomed in on it. They had said that this thing had came from, what they said, 60,000 feet or more, and goes from 60,000 feet to like just over the top of the surface of the ocean.
Okay, yes.
Did you hear
That
about
was the one we seen.
Okay.
Yep.
So they had said that they wasn't coming from left and right,
No, it was coming from straight.
and there was more than one. They were coming from above. From above. So they go from 60,000 feet all the way down to just mere feet
above the ocean
above the
floor.
ocean floor. And then they called in more pilots to come in and look at it. And one of them, I believe, was a female pilot. And she had came in and said that she had seen on the surface of the ocean what she described it as like a disturbance on the ocean, right? And that it was like a bubbly fizz or something like that, a distortion on the surface of the water, meaning that she was thinking there was something underneath it, or it had went and was a USO, unidentified. I think they call that subsurface something. It means it goes in
Under the ground.
yes, it goes under the ocean. USO, I think, is what they call those things. All right. So, do you know what the cap was? Did you hear them talk about cap?
I'm sure I did. But I'm telling you, we watched UFO videos like all week because it was a big thing in the news. So we watched so many of them,
Yeah.
I don't remember everything we watched. I mean, it was all over the news.
Yeah, well, they did a cap, what they call it a cap. And basically, it's like a rendezvous spot. All right, so when they're flying their missions and doing whatever it is that they do for aerial protection of the fleet and missions and stuff like that, they have like a rendezvous spot apparently. And so all of them know that location already. Or all they do is just hit it in the computer and it would fly them to a particular designated coordinate area. Apparently, when they called, they said, let's just go to cap. And they radioed back into the ship and they said, let's go to cap. Apparently, they went to the cap location, this particular location of the surface, and it was there waiting for them. The Tic Tac was there waiting for them. So it knew their location prior to them going there.
So it read what they were saying. I mean, it knew. I mean, come on, think about it.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking
It
about.
had the capability of reading what was being said between.
Right. So let me ask you this much. So do you think it's a black op secret program
No.
that, in other words, they're using the regular Navy guys as they're using regular military forces as like the test? Or is there something really going on? I mean, these military aviators were saying that it is beyond the laws of physics that we understand. 60,000 feet to.
I don't believe there's any other country that has that type of capability, and I don't believe it's us.
Yeah.
No.
And so they had the Tic Tac. They had the one that's like a spinning top.
Yeah, the spinning one.
Right. There was one was called Go Fast, and the other one was called Gimbal. That's what it was.
Echo 6-1 Tango, Roger, Roger.
Oh, got it! Woohoo!
Roger, there's troubleshooting machines back there.
Did you box moving target?
02.
No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at it fly! There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS, dude. Well, if there's like... Look at that thing. It's rotating.
Now, did you
How
know?
do you remember all these names to all these videos?
Because I got a good memory when it comes to this. Gimbal was off the coast of Florida.
Which side?
On the Atlantic side. They were doing maneuvers along the Atlantic side, and that's when they came across Gimbal. I don't remember the name of the ship and the fleet that was out there, but that was the one that was called Gimbal. That was found off the coast of Florida.
Was it right off the coast, or was it near
I
Bermuda?
want to say off maybe the Jacksonville area,
Okay.
not far. I don't know how many more miles out, but they just said that they had interviewed the pilot, and they had basically, and the pilot said, "Oh, I understand another guy's voice. I know what fleet this is because I know the guy." And so they identified it to be off the coast of Florida is where it was at. So the point the point we're making is that the Department of Defense has finally assembled a unidentified aerial phenomena task force. Okay, a task force. The military normally only formulates task forces
When they have credible evidence. Say it.
likely normally when there's offensive operations that are going to be planned. All right, and so then now they got this Pentagon task force now that is supposed to find out what these things are. And what I'm telling you is that if you don't know, there's supposed to be something that's supposed to be coming out in the month of June
What an update.
from the Pentagon, from the
Yeah.
Pentagon.
Yeah, from the task force.
Yeah, from the Pentagon. Do you think these this Sasquatch stuff has any kind of a connection with these things?
There's always that thought. I mean, a lot of people think it. I don't know. I mean, every time I'm almost afraid to say anything.
Oh, about getting bashed?
Yeah, because some of our
I wouldn't
viewers,
wanna-
yeah, so, it can be brutal with what your opinion is. I know a lot of people think there is a connection, yes, between the two.
Well, I think as we get near to start having moon, as we start getting ready to go back to the moon, I think things are going to start picking up in Florida. And the green swamp is right there in the center of the state,
Yeah.
basically on the same parallel of Cape Canaveral is. And I'm just kind of curious if this big dark spot of Florida, I mean, think about it, if you're from above and you're looking down and you're seeing all these lights all over the state of Florida, and you want to go to this one particular place and observe rocket launches and how these human beings are doing or whatever, maybe you might want to slide on in to the dark spots or over the ocean or whatever like that. But I don't know, I just gotta, I got my eyes and ears open out there, and I don't know. I think things are going to start changing as we ramp up this moon stuff and try to go to Mars later on,
Yeah, well, they're not doing the Mars thing, though, until, like, what, 33?
Later down.
Yeah, like
yeah,
2033 or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, well, they're going to go to the moon first. That's what they want to say. So
Yeah.
I don't know about the whole thing. I just think it's I think it's very fascinating, to be honest with you.
Well, I think anything that we can't explain can be fast.
It's
Yeah.
very fascinating.
Yeah. If you got that type of personality, I guess, the sense of adventure. Always searching.
I've never seen anything like that nothing like some of this video stuff.
Nope. Nothing like that.